All right, Super Centex After Dark with Chad, Michael, and Bryce. Boys, always good to see y'all.
Likewise, likewise.
Hey, there was a lot of love out there tonight for the podcast, the After Dark and midweek podcast. I think more and more people are recognizing me, and like they're like, "Oh, I seen you on TV or whatever that thing is."
They're also recognizing our picks. Not to spoil what I was going to tell y'all, but
Oh, well, why don't you
Oh
go
yeah,
ahead and
well,
start
okay,
then?
yeah. Well, I had multiple Chilton folks come up to me and say, "Thanks for picking us," because I guess I didn't see y'all's picks. Did both of y'all pick Mart?
I picked
Is
Uh,
that right?
Chilton.
You picked Chilton, Chad?
Yeah, I picked
Okay,
Chilton.
I
so
picked Mart.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess a few of them must have not seen your pick, Chad, because a lot of them were saying like, "Thanks for," or maybe they meant like, "Thanks for being one of the ones who to pick Chilton." But anyway, obviously, I saw Chilton just completely overwhelm Mart, 34-0 shutout win, fourth straight shutout win for Chilton. I did not
They
think
haven't
that
given up a point since what?
since week one, and they only gave up 12, and it was to Hearn, who I think is
Dang.
a division
I believe
larger. I
there's,
think they're 2AD1, I
yeah,
think.
okay.
Yeah. And man, like I think I mean it's certainly no secret that Mart is not the Mart we're certainly like we're not used like we're used to Mart being Mart, and I don't think
Hmm.
Mart is necessarily of that caliber this year. But I will say I walked away from this game more impressed with Chilton, a little disappointed in Mart. I don't think Mart brought it tonight.
You saying Chilton 2 weeks in a row though, right? Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
and they're just like this defense is scary, man. Like they fly around. I mean, they make it so tough
Hmm.
to just get yards. And the thing is, here's what makes them unbeatable. If you play the way Mart played tonight and have so many self-inflicted wounds, like you're not going to stand a chance because it's a penalty here that sets him back behind the sticks, and then Mart's just trying to really just get back to the line of scrimmage at that point, the original line of scrimmage. And then on top of that, here I'm gonna read you some of these miscues that Mart had. I detailed it out in my story here. They had here we go. So three interceptions thrown by Mart. That was not a good thing. They coughed up two fumbles, had three turnovers on downs, and muffed a punt return.
Mm.
So and the Panthers reached the red zone four times and just didn't come up with any points.
So I have two questions for you, Michael.
Mhm.
You can address them in whichever order you like.
Like a press conference here.
Let's
Yes.
do it.
What uh, does Mart make the playoffs? And then the other question is, how far does Chilton go in the playoffs?
I do think I mean like I was looking at Mart's schedule and obviously I mean playing the two state ranked teams in that district off the bat was gonna be tough no matter what. So I mean you can absolutely look at that schedule and be like Mart may not lose another game, you know. I would probably lean more that way than as opposed to Mart like missing the playoffs, but I don't know. Could Frost, knock him
You've
out? I don't know.
seen, like, what's the separation between Mart and Frost this year? Because you've seen both those teams.
I mean, Frost is probably a little more disciplined, I would say. That's probably it. I think Mart has better players and better, especially his skill guys. But like what I saw from Frost, and it was just week one. They play a clean brand of football. And to answer the next part about Chilton, like if barring injury, like I don't see how a team can score on that defense. And the thing about what makes their offense work, it's so ground and pound heavy. Like they'll run this like direct snap to Xavier Taylor, their running back. Like if they just need like 4 yards, and I wouldn't even say that much. They can get 4 to 5 yards from just a direct snap to Xavier Taylor because he plunges forward, he runs so hard, and he falls forward every time. I
Mm.
like teams know he's doing it. Like I know these coaching staffs are smart enough to know like he's gonna run it right up the gut. But I've seen Chilton do this for 2 weeks now, where like when they just need to convert, they just run that little direct snap to Xavier Taylor, and then the thing is they can kind of scheme off of that. They'll
Mm.
kind of fake it. They'll run. Nico Thomas will kind of fake a handoff sometimes and take off. Like their running game is so tough to stop, and it is frightening. And here's one thing I'll say on top of that makes Chilton maybe scarier is it looks like Decorian Evans is starting to ramp back up, and that is a frightening,
It
sight to
sounds
see.
like October 24th is going to be a slobber knocker
Well,
when Chilton goes over to
I'll
Bremont
tell you
that
what,
game.
it is not just us three talking about that. I talked to several Chilton people who, after this game today, were like, "Hey, that's gonna be a good game, right?" I said, "I'm looking
Well,
forward
when
to
you
it."
talk about direct snap, I mean they were running direct snap to Tank Scott last
Hmm.
week, and um, I think maybe Bremont, do they have maybe a little bit better of a passing game
Yeah,
with several
Sam,
receivers that
like
they
I
like to
talked.
throw to? And
Yes, and I had talked to Coach Lancaster this week, and we both agreed that Sam Kosowski was probably going to be one of the better quarterbacks they played this year. And as you saw, Chad, they didn't really need him to throw a lot, or
Our
maybe he
Super
couldn't.
Centex offensive newcomer of the year
Yeah,
last year was a
really good
freshman.
quarterback.
Yeah.
I
Really
don't,
good
yeah, I
quarterback.
don't know why. I don't know why they didn't.
Well, Mart's
I mean,
secondary is
maybe
really
they thought
good.
Mart had good defensive backs. I wanted to jump in on Mart
Go ahead.
for a minute because Mart, it's going to take. Mart will get back to. I don't know that they'll get back to 3 straight state championships and plan for 4 straight championships, but they'll get back to being a dominant team at their level. It's not going to happen overnight, and it's you know their schedule. They played 2 games against teams that were 3 divisions bigger than them, and they played Bremont and Chilton now,
Back to
which are
back
both.
state ranked 2A teams. Yeah.
Top six
Yeah, and
teams. Yeah,
so it's that's a tough way to sort of rebuild, you
it
know.
is. It really is.
Yeah. I think I told y'all on a previous podcast. I don't care how far Mart is down. I can't envision myself not picking Mart against Hubbard and Frost and
Right.
Wortham. You know, like
I'm
uh,
still in the same boat, Bryce. Even after seeing them get shut out today, I still do believe they have a lot of speed. They're not a bad team. They did not have it tonight, and Chilton is really good. Like
mm,
really good.
The
yeah,
bad news for Frost is that Mart has 3 weeks now to get their wheels under them
Hmm.
against Wortham, Hubbard, and Meridian.
Yeah.
yeah, and wasn't Frost losing to Meridian at one point tonight?
They won though. They
Yeah,
won.
they won.
But yes, they were down. I think it like in the second half.
Yeah.
So
That
Uh,
Meridian train was gaining momentum, I
mhm.
guess. But
all right. So, Chad, you saw the Levi Leather show, right?
yeah, so a couple of things that I wanted to mention apart from just the breakdown of the game. Okay, so I sent the what was it, Axtell Leathers and the Longhorns, right? Which is kind of a play on words, right? Because what's leather but a cow,
Mm,
and what's a longhorn is a cow, right? Which
Mm-hmm.
I like to point out to my Austin friends. They're so dedicated to that golden cow that they have, bunch of freaking heathens.
Does that make you like? Does it feel weird when you're covering the Axtell Longhorns? Like, I mean,
It kind of gives me a little bit of like a sick to my stomach feeling.
yeah, I can
But
understand.
I get past it after a few times. No, but yeah, Leathers and the Longhorns. I think that's like that's a thing.
mhm.
That would be like a good country band name.
Yeah, it's a
Nice.
good garage
Uh,
band.
so the other thing is, speaking of music and bands, I walk up tonight. I get out of my new whip. By the way, I got a new whip this week, and also which means I have a fancy new office for halftime. Right. Uh,
A new
for
whip.
your older viewers, a whip is a car.
Oh, okay. All right. Also, for some of the older people on the podcast.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Bryce, you learned something tonight. A whip.
All right. I thought it was a dance. The whip and
Whose
the
whip did y'all
mayday.
take on? Whose whip did y'all take to Shoemaker tonight to clean?
We took Janet's car.
Yeah. All right. So I get out of my car and I'm walking in and I hear the dulcet tones of Unchained Melody, the That's not the
Righteous
Brothers.
Brothers. It is
It is the Righteous Brothers. Yeah, Unchained Melody. And I'm like, what the heck? And like, even as I'm walking up,
oh my love, my darling, I
I
hunger
hunger for
for
your
your
touch.
touch. Not a song that you would normally hear at a lot of football.
And even as I'm walking up, I'm thinking, you know what's happened is Axtell has left the field for pregame, and Valley Mills is out there, and they're screwing with them by playing this really slow, sappy music, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then they follow that up with "Wind Beneath My Wings" by Bette Midler.
That's even better.
It was fantastic. Yeah.
Did you ever know that you're mine?
And so I get up to the press box and I tell the guys, I said, listen, I'm, and they mentioned the podcast, and I was like, listen, I'm gonna get on the text thread right now and tell the guys what you guys are doing is psychologically messing with Valley Mills. Trying to
played, Axtell. Well played.
They're trying to bore them to death, right? And they're like, "Oh, you can't give away our secret." I'm like, your secret? You're playing music over a public address system. But anyway, they were really nice guys. They were really nice guys. I'm
gonna have to ask Mike Cadell if they ever did that back in his Axtell days.
Well, I feel like Craig Horn and his guys, they're going to leave no stone unturned. And but it could have been totally the PA the press box guys freelancing on that one. So anyway, they also played a football game. They're in Axtell, Valley Mills at Axtell, and unfortunately for Valley Mills, is I guess a little bit of a news item. Deshaun Johnson, their stud running back, left the game. I think it was either late first quarter or early second quarter. Looked like he maybe had a shoulder injury. They were kind of trying to get up under his pads to help him out.
Well, he's like ran the ball like 140 times in the first 4 weeks of the season, so I guess he's a little worn down.
They were kind of pounding the ball with him and getting nowhere in the first half. And aside from, the play-by-play breakdown, let me tell you, Axtell, they play bigger than they look.
Yeah.
They play tenacious and hard and fast. In fact,
so how far can they go?
Well, let me oh gosh, that's really a tough call, because here's the thing, and I feel like we're a little bit spoiled. I'm a little bit spoiled to have seen Bremond and Mart last week, because I mean, Bremond's just such a different animal. I think Bremond is probably as good as a lot of good 3AD.
Well, fortunately, Axtell didn't have to worry about playing.
Yeah, I know. True. But what I'm saying is, I'm watching Axtell going, okay, they're 2AD1 and Bremond's 2AD2, and
Bremon's
the 2AD2 ones look better. But I like a lot of the things Axtell does. Craig Horn was happy that they were able to get vertical tonight. And they threw touchdown passes of 11, 20, and 54 yards there in the second quarter. And yeah, like I said, they play bigger and they play more tenacious. And Horn also said that they look at the time of everything on huddle, and they want the guys to go fast. They said they can fix mistakes, but they just want guys going fast. And that came into play because, I mean, they were not, physically overpowering, or you wouldn't think they would have been physically overpowering against Valley Mills, but they controlled the game. They also got 2 fumble recoveries and 3 interceptions. So 5 takeaways, even though they were only +3, but 5 takeaways will win a lot of ball games for you.
Yeah.
Well, let's get to my game. I saw the Midway Shoemaker game, which, boy.
We're gonna go touchdown by touchdown and just be here to like
absolutely
Midway Shoemaker shootout.
I did not. There was a lot of touchdowns I did not even touch on in my story. So I'll get to what really won the game for Midway. But first of all, it was 66-47. If you want to know the final score, Midway wins. Big bounce back win for the Panthers and Joe Gillespie after losing, on homecoming to Harker Heights district opener last week. tough break last week when they had the fumble. This week, first of all, the Midway offense was just absolutely buzzing, tonight. And I'm looking at my stats later, and figuring up things. And I had already tallied Lathan's stats, and he was great. He had 187 yards and 3 touchdowns. Had this 44-yard run, y'all, where he was just bouncing and spinning off so many Shoemaker guys, and it was just like, dude, is he ever gonna go down? They got him down at the 1-yard line, and he went out and took a breather, and Jaden Fields Vaughn came in and vultured his touchdown. But Lathan still had three touchdowns tonight, 187 yards. But here's the thing. So when you were talking, Michael, about Xavier Taylor and the Chilton and how they can counter off that play and stuff. I mean, when you have a running back like Lathan Wissington, it opens up so much for you in that play action. And Andrew McNair was I didn't realize until I started counting up the stats after the game. He was 25 of 27 on the night. 2 incompletions the whole dadgum night. He completed his last 18 passes of the game.
Oh my gosh.
For 300 and what did I have it down? It's in my story. Over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. Plus he ran for a 33-yard touchdown that kind of iced it on a 3rd and 13 play. They've got really good receivers: Scythe, Hayden Brock, Jackson Birch, Jacoby Hamilton. All these guys are good. Here's what won it, though. So it's just back and forth. Boom, 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 boom. Shoemaker's very good, too. You guys saw him. Mm-hmm. Their quarterback actually hit his first 10 passes of the game. Didn't have any incompletions.
Really good.
Fourth quarter. I mean, it was insane. But here's the deal. So it's 24-19 in the first half. Lathan Wissington has scored on a 1-yard run. Let me close the door on the dog here.
Bryce's dog strikes again.
Hey, dog's been home by herself all night, and Janet's coming home with some shakes from Whataburger for us. So that's what the dog's barking at. But
I thought you meant the dog was getting a shake.
So that score made it 24-19. Shoemaker gets the ball. Midway gets a big strip, fumble recovery with 24 seconds left in the half. They score. McNair to Scythe. Boom. Now they've got a little more breathing room. It's 31-19. And then on the ensuing kickoff, Shoemaker kind of foolishly tries to do this little reverse on the kickoff return. And the one kid tried to hand it to the other kid, and that kid dropped it. And here comes Midway, falls on the ball. And so you're like, dude, they're going to get a field goal and add to this lead. Nope. They're going to get a touchdown and add to this lead. And now it's 38-19. There was 21 points in 91 seconds.
Wow. How did they get the quick strike touchdown right before the half end?
That was it. It was McNair to Scythe. McNair to Scythe again. So back to back, McNair to Scythe.
That connection kind of found its footing then tonight, didn't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Scythe had 8 catches, 103 yards, 2 touchdowns.
He's been good all year.
He's great. But here's what I like. Hayden Brock, who's, listed as their tight end. He's 5'9", probably. Let's see. 5'8", 171 at tight end. But they utilize him so well, and bringing him out of the backfield and throwing these little passes to him, and he's been big. He's really doing well. He had 7 catches for 82 yards and a touchdown tonight.
Well, if these size stats were up to date in Stats Plus last week, now he added another 30% onto his season totals tonight.
They're
Yeah,
up to date.
I'm showing 17 for 295
Mhm.
going into the game.
well,
Now
and
he's
that's the
like
thing. Like
25 for almost
they
almost
they have
400.
so many weapons that
Yeah.
he's got a lot of mouths to feed, basically. I did ask Joe Gillespie after the game because they did play without Max Mayton. They did play without Chauncey King.
What about Hudson King? Was he out
Hoping,
too?
huh? Hudson
Was
King,
Hudson King was so all three of them did not play?
correct.
Dang.
Uh, they still made some good defensive plays. He's crossing his fingers that maybe some guys will come back for the Temple game next week. We'll see. But Midway's defense is hurting, and I think if they can get past Temple next week, then you get a bye week, and then you get sort of the easier part of the 12-6A schedule.
Yeah.
So,
by the way, I've got the Midway Temple game next week. I was trying to figure out why you were throwing me a bone on that one, Bryce. Why you were stepping away from the Midway beat for a week.
well, if you actually read your emails or
text. Now I remember you're coming. I do. I remember the email. You're coming back to do. You're going to do the announcing.
Baylor basketball plays an exhibition
Right.
at 4 p.m. And so.
Oh yeah.
It was going to be a really tight
time of year
that,
they do these.
I will go from that. I'll come over. I'll get there at some point in the first half, I'm sure, and I'll do my halftime announcing and
Frozen.
Watch the rest.
Oh, there he is.
There he is.
Oh, so you didn't hear me on any of that?
No. Repeat yourself. You froze.
Okay. Well, yeah, it says my internet connection is unstable. My whole life's unstable, but I'm going to the Baylor basketball game. I'll get over to Midway sometime in the first half and be there for halftime and probably the rest of the game. So, but you're covering the game. I'm just there to do my halftime stuff and maybe help spot or whatever you want me to do.
That's going to be weird. That's going to be kind of weird if I end up doing my routine of shooting it and covering it, right? Because then you'll be in the press box.
We'll have another photographer there if you want to be in the press box.
I can just put my rider hat on next week.
Yes.
But Midway has such good lights. It's such a good place to shoot anyway. It's fine.
Well, whatever. Quickly, what else jumped out at you? Michael, you also saw Lorena play.
I was just going to bring that up. So it's funny, the 2 games I saw this week, I would venture to say that neither of them went the way I expected it at all. I thought this is no knock on Lorena at all. I know they're good, but I thought Lampasas would kind of maybe not run away with it, but I thought it would be like a, just kind of a routine win for them. But it was just back and forth shootout type thing. It was similar to your game, Bryce, maybe without the 100.
I saw your video of Blancett trying to go for the end zone into the game.
Well, that was kind of the key part of the game, like that final moment of the game that really like decided it. So Lorena's defense, which had been pretty leaky all game, comes up with a big stop, forces a punt. Lorena has, I think, all 3 timeouts left. They get the ball right after the 2-minute warning because I think the punt it was like they punted the ball with like 2:04 left. And so, trying to get it off the punt, it ended up burning the 2-minute timeout. And, so I can't remember where they started, somewhere in their own territory. They basically had to go the length of the field, but they had 3 timeouts. And so Kevin Johnson was pretty confident in his offense's ability to, make something happen. But the offense, the offense was carrying the load all night long for the Leopards. And to their credit, like they made some big plays. They got all the way to the 31, but then they had a really costly holding penalty that pushed them back 8 yards because they had gained 2 yards and then 10-yard penalty. And they made up the distance on it, had to burn their final timeout. And then that throw to the end zone happened where Blancett just kind of uncorks one up in the air down the left
Yeah,
sideline.
I watched that video that you took a few times. I thought maybe the receiver should have come back a little more to the ball.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I think that was Carson Miller. I didn't see
It's
exactly who that was.
hindsight, like, and
Right.
you're not out there, but his
Maybe he
momentum, I
kind of,
think, was taking him away from the ball a little bit.
and
But
maybe he kind of misgauged it, or I don't. Maybe he didn't know where his feet were because he was kind of in that on that furthermost right side of the end zone where you have to get your feet in. It was a weird play. The Lampasas DB
I
made a
really
play,
like
and
Blanson. I really like Carson
oh,
Miller, De
I'll tell you
Leon.
what,
They are explosive.
that yeah,
Lorena could be a player in that district.
I'm saying
I
yeah, they're
think
good.
I shot that game last night, and so I
Mm-hmm.
got to see a lot of the first half. And one of the things that impressed me about Lorena is they went Lampasas it was on their third possession before they ever got into a second down.
It was
They
crazy.
scored on the first play from scrimmage.
Yeah.
On their first offensive series and their second offensive series.
Twice. Yeah,
and
they did it back to back.
and like you were saying, Michael, it looked like it was going to be a long night for the
Mm-hmm.
Lorena Leopards. But they fought back, and actually after those two miscues, they only gave up 28 points the rest of the way.
Right.
So they responded. They actually played some pretty good defense after
They did.
that. And is Lampasas a bigger school than them? Are they 4A D1?
Yeah, they're
5A D2?
4AD1,
Yeah.
and there's only a handful of teams
Well, and remember,
in the UIL that
Lorena's
are undefeated still.
basically playing 4A ball with 3A numbers right now.
Yeah,
so.
right.
Well, it still shows me that Lorena is going to be ready to fight when it comes to district play next week.
Like they are so similar to Whitney in the sense that it's just, I mean, they are a little banged up on defense. There's no question about that. Kevin Johnson has pointed that out, but at the same time, like he was pretty candid with me after the game. He was like, "Look, we can point to the youth, we can point to the injuries, we can point to a lot, but he's like, at the end of the day, like we have to make plays." And he pointed to those first two touchdowns right out of the gates where that was just missed assignments and just busted plays that where they ripped off huge touchdown runs. He said that's unacceptable. Then,
I texted you the word air, just one word text, the word air after that first touchdown, because I was standing back behind the Lampasas line, hoping to get a tackle in the backfield.
He was off to the races.
Photo, and it was.
Right.
I could have driven my new whip through it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just gonna say the penultimate touchdown of the first half of that Midway game, the first Scythe one of the back-to-back, he was so wide open. Like he was like, where is Shoemaker? I mean, he could have stopped and just stood there for a while and still scored. But anyway.
Yeah. So just one more thing I'll say. I mean, you're right, Chad. The Lorena defense did kind of settle in after that, but they did have Lampasas in a 3rd and long at one point, I think later in that first half, and gave up like a 73-yard touchdown. So it was those 3 plays that Kevin Johnson said, man, if we can just be more disciplined in our assignments on those plays, like that's a totally different game. And he's like, look, we have tested ourselves through 5 weeks. There's no question. They've played a tough schedule.
Yeah.
But he's like at the same time, he's a little frustrated. He wants to see better results because his team is right there. He can feel it.
I think they'll fight. The bad news is they got Bryce McCurdy and Evan Moreno and Jabari Thornton and Amy.
Yeah, teams are going to score on them. Teams are going to score on them.
One more thing I'll say, Bryce.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I don't know what his status is. Kevin Johnson said he should be okay, but Brody De Leon did. It was a really scary play. He had his helmet ripped off.
Helmet came off, yeah.
And then he got hit. I didn't know if he got hit. Like he was standing there with no helmet on. The play wasn't blown dead, and he got hit really hard. I don't know if he got hit in the head or if when he hit the ground, his head hit the ground. But he was down for a little bit, kind of holding the back of his head, and he came out of the game and did not return. That was in the 3rd quarter. So I don't know if maybe he might, have some sort of concussion protocol
something
issue. I don't know.
Follow up on for sure. Lorena was the one team in that district that actually played this week. Everybody else took their buys. So I don't know. I wonder if Kevin Johnson is thinking, man, I wish I would have had some rest, but I don't know. We'll
Hey,
see.
couple of comments on Michael's story. I see you got your little video there with Xavier Taylor, right?
There were also a few other notes from that game I was going to share
Yeah,
before we
yeah.
moved on
Well,
totally.
but here's the thing that I love this time of year, and of course they break out the pink stuff, the pink gloves, pink shoe tape,
Which I also
pink
now have a
sleeves.
pink shake, strawberry
Oh,
shake.
you got a strawberry shake, okay? And I think I guess it's just a long-standing thing. It's way of people of promoting cancer research and all
Right.
that. I guess that's still what it's all about.
It
Uh,
is.
but it creates kind of a cool vibe because I'm looking at this Chilton Mart picture and it's like purple, blue, pink,
Yeah.
and kind of reminds me of that Charlize Theron German spy movie,
Yeah.
Atomic Blonde. That's all set with that kind of neon purple pink.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We're going down
Well,
some rabbit holes now. Give me your stats that you want.
Hey, it's After Dark. We got to go
Yeah.
through rabbit holes.
Again, sorry to like circle all the way back to this game since we already talked about it, but if you do watch that video, you can notice he's kind of like laughing at the beginning because the first thing I asked him as I started the video, I said, what year were you born? And he was kind of like what? And the reason, and I said there's a reason I'm asking this. So he said 2008, which I was like, whoa. And then I mentioned, I said, so the last time Chilton beat Mart in a football game
He was in diapers.
yes, he was 1 year, he was either a full year old or months old. It was August 29th, 2009. It was in Chilton. I'd have to go back even further. I don't have they ever beat Mart in Mart? I don't know. Have
So
they
did he
ever
have
shut
any
out
response
Mart?
to that?
He was just like, I mean, he was like, wow, like that's crazy,
You want to
he
know,
didn't really
Michael,
know.
who the coach of the Chilton Pirates was back then? Tell him.
Yes, it was Robert Little.
Oh, it was Robert Little. Okay, I was thinking.
Yes,
I was thinking his predecessor. Tell him who
Lucky Gamble.
Lucky Gamble,
it was not Gamble.
one
Because
of the
I went
great
here. You know what? Hold on.
names. And we used to get matchups of Lucky Gamble versus Rusty
So
Nail.
Maris Randolph played in that game. Jack Winkles, and that Chilton Mart game back in 2009 was in the HEB Kickoff Classic at Waco ISD
Okay.
Stadium.
Nice.
Oh, maybe I should have put that on the list. I knew there was some kickoff classic games back in the day that were.
So anyway, I wanted to bring that up, and then just some kind of sour news for Mart. Mart's off to its worst start in like over 20 years. So that's
But again,
yes, there is
three
context.
AD1
There is
opponents,
context.
2 ranked
Right.
district opponents,
And
yeah.
Was it you or I don't remember who said that Lancaster was like, I didn't make this schedule.
Right.
Yeah, that's what
he
said
had
to me
to.
after
He had
the
to.
Whitney game.
Yeah.
And the thing
was what was
is,
given to him.
Mart has to make schedules like that because nobody will
Right.
play him.
Right.
Rio Vista ain't saying, yeah, we'll play it.
Yeah, no doubt.
Bosqueville said, hey, we ain't doing that anymore.
Speaking
Anyway,
of
that's all I
Bosqueville,
got.
quickly, let me
Yeah.
bring that up. That was the stunner of the night, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
Dawson
Point that out.
smacking Bosqueville.
Mm-hmm.
Give it up for the Dawson Bulldogs. So yeah, that's a good one.
I didn't
And
notice
the
any
other thing
others.
I
Let me
wanted
see.
to mention, the other stat I wanted to mention was even though I got the Mart Chilton game wrong, I was 17 and 4 this week. I got 2 games on y'all. That's all I'm doing is chipping away. And I'll be back where I belong real soon on top of the picks.
That was that. I still got a 6-game lead on you. In our midweek podcast, I was mouthing off that I was just going to follow around Michael the rest of the year. But then I saw you guys both pick Midway, and I'm like, we can't go straight Midway.
Yeah.
We gotta.
Well, and
tap the brakes on them a little bit because they mentioned
earlier.
How about that Valley Bills over Axtell pick you made, Chad?
Oh man.
That was the same thing. I was like, this is enough of a toss-up to where I don't want us to go straight on one team.
Yeah.
And I knew that it looked like a really good game on paper. Man, Valley Mills put in a sophomore quarterback named Carson Collins, and he had a really good second half. He still alternated with their starter.
What happened to a Griner, Blaine Griner?
Griner, that's good pickup on the name because I didn't have it in front of me. Blaine Griner and him kind of alternated, but the sophomore looked really good,
Hmm.
and it just kind of makes you go, well, what if they tried to open it up a little bit and not pounded it so much with Deshaun early in the game? You know, you hate second. We're not here to second guess coaches. And one thing that go
it
ahead.
just sounds like excuses for a bad pick that you made, and I'm gonna dunk on you like another Griner. That's all I'm saying.
Nice.
So, peace out, boys.
You're gonna cut it off on that. That's not fair.
Later.